are back again. Vegas Live with Ninon. I'm Ninon, your host. And I have Darrell with me. He's been on my show a couple of times. But, over the years, because we're now doing this show for 7 years, Vegas Live with Ninon for 7 years.
It's been a while.
7 years in Vegas is pretty tough.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a tough journey, I'll tell you. I guess I should know. I've been through it. I'm still going through it.
Yeah.
But to stay in with what you're doing and how you're doing it, it's But, I always say, without all of you out there, nothing happens. Without you and without all my guests, nothing happens. So,
right.
It's not just a one person doing it, though. It's perseverance
It
on my side.
It takes a village.
It takes a village. It doesn't take one person.
Exactly.
It takes a village.
Exactly.
It takes Las Vegas to do this, especially in the entertainment business.
Absolutely.
And you are in the entertainment business, and you're now telling me, because he keeps going up the ladder. We all do the same thing. We start here, and then let's do this.
There's actually been a lot of changes with me since we first met.
Yes, a lot. So I want to hear about all these changes that have gone. You now have a podcast.
Yeah, I have Music Matters with Darrell Harris, which is my music podcast.
Now, music matters. I love that matters bit, because music does matter.
Absolutely.
Why?
Right. Well, I think it's sort of the soul of our lives, right?
It's never going to go out.
Right. It's memories. It's our special moments in our lives. The music's always tied with that. So I started that actually. Yeah, and I started that with when the COVID thing happened.
See, we all got something out of COVID. We all got something positive out of COVID.
Right.
And you did.
Yeah, I kind of woke up and everything was shut down.
Do something.
Yeah, and everything was shut down. I'm like, what am I going to do? So I manage music pages in Europe. It's Music Crowns.
Now, what's music pages?
Yeah, so Facebook music pages.
Okay.
There's large ones. So one of them is in London, which is Music Crowns, and the other one's in Italy, Basic Guitar Love. So they have 7 million followers around the world. So I edit and contribute to those pages.
Just going to add our show to all this, Maria.
Yeah, it's a lot. My job listing is like that long. So I have those pages, and I kind of woke up one day when the COVID thing was happening. I'm like, how am I going to
manipulate around? Since we're all closed down around the world, everybody was closed around the world, so it was a worldly thing.
Yeah, so I decided to start the podcast, and we were just talking about Zoom. So I used Zoom I was getting people from England and people from Japan, which we're still doing, and it's been going good.
Isn't that amazing? Because I have a show, Ninon Speaks, which now we have Maria Pureza is now the producer, and Ninon Speaks is a similar show to what I do here, but it's international, where those people, somebody like you said in Japan, they're not in Vegas. My Vegas show, Vegas Live with Ninon, is live in Vegas, whereas having the other show brings in all these other...
Yeah, obviously you have a lot of connections in England, you have connections around the world, so why not take advantage of that?
And I even lived in Beirut for a couple of years, so I've got a few people there too.
Right.
I don't know if they remember me, I was a little bit younger then.
Amazing beaches, I know. I think the thing is, it's a big world, and when you take the time to do interviews and even though it's in Vegas, people around the world are curious about Vegas.
Well, they love Vegas. People love Vegas, so I happen to have fallen into a very nice slot, being in Vegas.
And you're great at what you do.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
Thank you. Well, I try, I sort of,
It's a process.
It's a process. It is a process. It's not something you just wake up and you have breakfast and you say, I'll go and interview.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. Everybody thinks, sometimes I'm sitting just looking, but I'm not empty. I'm sure you do that a lot as well.
It's a lot, because like for me, I'm booking the show. I just recently, I was telling you, I got some really great sponsors. One of them is Kathy Ireland. So now I'm working with Kathy Ireland worldwide.
Okay, and what are you doing with her?
Right, well, they contacted me because I've known them for a while. I shot photos with her a couple of years ago here in Vegas.
Yes.
And she's such a sweet lady. So her CEO contacted me a couple of months ago when I was in New York and said that they would like to sponsor my podcast. And she has a record label, which a lot of people don't know. So it's EE1 Records. So she has Marilyn McCoo, Billy Davis on that label, Vanessa Williams, and some other...
Oh, how wonderful. Got some good names on
that. And some other awesome folks. There's a lot happening with that.
Well, Kathy Ireland is an amazing woman. She's done a lot as a woman, because it's been hard, but she started way, way back.
Yeah, and it's interesting because a lot of people don't really know what she's done since being a supermodel.
Yes.
She actually has a really successful company, which is Kathy Ireland Worldwide, and it's over a $2 billion company. She does a lot of licensing for home furnishing
I was
products.
going to say, she has a lot of furnishing products, which
Right.
I can remember, lampshades and
Michael
different
Amini.
things.
Yeah.
I remember all that. That's right.
So it's fascinating, and she has a great team around her. It's like family. We've all been together for many years.
Yes.
So they've sort of invited me to join them.
Isn't that wonderful?
It's really
well,
awesome.
I'm going to say it's only because of the work you do. It's only because you've taken the responsibility on to do what you're doing and to do it well.
And I try to be nice. That helps.
Yes.
Be professional, show up and be nice.
Well, I think being professional is definitely one, but showing up is definitely a lot of people. Why don't a lot of people get these contacts, get this stuff, and they don't show up?
I think a lot of people. What I've found in my life is a lot of people self-sabotage because they have kind of a fear of success. So they'll get to a certain point and then they'll kind of freeze up. And I think for me, like what I realize is our every day here is limited. And I think, when I've learned the most is when I've been the most uncomfortable. When I've had to struggle the hardest is when I've learned the most.
You have to struggle. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If everything's easy, then you're not really learning as much.
No, I think learning is absolutely amazing.
And growing. Right.
And growing your business. And I'd like saying, Vegas Live has been here 7 years now. And growing it and it's starting. I never thought when it started it would still be here at 7 years, and being in this amazing restaurant, Mariposa, which now we film in a few restaurants to give them.
And it's a nice vibe and it's friendly and relaxed.
Oh, it's beautiful here. It's just absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, I think the thing with you, we hadn't had a chance to talk about that. How did you get involved in interviewing people? How did that happen?
I'm
going to switch the tables a little bit.
The last time this happened, I had to change seats, but we're not changing seats this time. No,
but I'm curious.
How did I start it? I started it, I was living in Bel Air. And I was married at the time, and I felt I was losing my identity. So I started a show called Voices. Actually, it was called Kids Talk. And the reason I started that show was to interview the younger generation. Okay. And the reason I did that was because I left home at 16 with $5. I had no education. I never went to school. I never had all the above. I didn't even know what I was going to do. But I was pretty enough to be able to go into modeling.
Okay.
So I went into modeling, and that's why I could have kind of started.
Right.
But when I
learned the world,
I learned the world, and I
right.
went around the world actually and did very well in modeling. I did extremely well. But then, after being married for about, it was about 5 years, 10 years, I was losing my identity as a person. So I started a show called Kids Talk. And then I turned it into Voices of Tomorrow. And that's where I was interviewing children. And that's how I learned.
Which is hard. That is very hard to do.
You can't. But this is how I learned never to pre-interview.
Yeah.
Because I would pre-interview. I did it one time. I went to the school. I remember in Los Angeles, I went to the school. I thought, I'll pre-interview all these kids before I bring them on the Saturday. So one of them turned around. I was asking them the same questions I asked them the day before. Exactly. You already asked me that question. We've already talked. I thought
because kids are pure souls. They don't
they're
know.
Lovely.
Right.
So that's how I started.
That's great.
And I did that.
That's
show.
Like boot camp, right? That's like going in the army.
Because you never know what children are going to say.
Right.
And especially when you don't pre-interview them.
Yep.
And they'd look at me and say, what are we talking about? I said, don't worry about it. But it would always be something they knew. It was something either their school or a foundation or football or whatever the case was.
That's what for my podcast, what I do is I'll talk to people before we actually start. But when they start telling me too much, I'm like, well, hold it.
That's what I do.
Yeah. And so
enough.
What I do for my podcast, if people have seen it, so we're like at 220,000 downloads or whatever. But so what I do is I have my iPad and I have just bullet points.
Yes.
Not really questions. Yes. I have just basically like directions, so I can kind of be like a guided chat more than an interview. Because the interview thing, as soon as you say interview, people get very nervous.
Yeah,
and they get tense.
Mine's like a coffee table chat. That's exactly what mine is. Mine's like a little coffee table thing.
Then it feels real and authentic.
Yes, and it is real. And we also go live.
Right.
We're live streaming.
Which kind of raises the level.
Because we don't, nothing's kind of pre-interviewed and nothing's pre-done. But I did this show for 16 years with the younger generation. I found it. And the reason I did it because I wanted them to know that it didn't matter where you came from, who you are, what you are. It meant that you could do anything you wanted out there. And we
have a similar story in a lot of ways.
You have,
yeah, because I was really self-taught. I'm a musician, and I've worked with Cirque du Soleil for a long time, which you've talked about before.
Yes.
But I was self-taught. I'm a Getty photographer. I was self-taught for that. I'm kind of like, I'm not like the read the instructions guy. I'm like, get my hands dirty.
Oh, no. In England, you're an idiot. If you read directions of anything, you're an idiot. You have to throw the directions away and sort it out yourself.
And I was just in London, actually, in November.
But then you're not supposed to read directions. You're supposed to know how to do it.
Right. Yeah.
And that's one of the challenges.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have to read directions.
Yeah, you figure it out. You get your hands dirty, but that's okay.
But that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and those lessons, those are the lessons that really stay with you.
Yes, and I think they stay with me and but I'm just a very natural person. Sometimes they say things I'm probably not supposed to say.
Right.
But
you
really
connect.
Don't. Yes, I connect very well
That's
with
important.
my guests because that's what the show is all about. Is my guest is about you, not about me.
There's nothing worse than an interviewer that asks a question, then he goes right to his notes and doesn't listen to the answer. Because to me, that's like, why did you ask the question? It's viewers pick up on that. So.
Well, that's why I don't have a co-host.
Right.
Because that happens with a co-host. I can be asking a question and they pop a question in and my poor guest hasn't even answered.
You're kind of
they haven't even answered. I'm like, why did you butt in when they haven't even answered? I'm asking.
You should care about the response, and you should listen. And then it's like surfing, You listen and you go, oh, they went a direction I didn't expect, but maybe it's a really great direction.
Yeah, so follow it.
Exactly.
Go for the direction.
Yep.
So what advice would you give out there for anybody coming in doing a podcast like you're doing? What advice would you give, especially the younger generation?
Yeah, the podcast thing, first of all, it's exploded.
Yes.
I would say the podcasting thing, the main thing is figure out how you're going to market your show, figure out what you really have a passion for, because it's really about your passion.
Yes.
If you're going to do something that you don't care that much about,
that's not going to happen.
Yeah, people can sense that. So, like for me, music just was an obvious one, and not only music but creative. So we've had film directors, we've had television directors,
which is all included because any film there's music.
Yep.
All films there's music.
Yeah, I had Dean Bushala. He's the producer director for Moonshiners, for Ice Road Truckers, a bunch of different TV shows, and he helped set up MTV in the '90s all through Europe.
Wow.
So he has so much to talk about. You almost have to figure out, okay, what am I not going to do?
Which part of your career are we going to talk about today?
Yeah, and I think, but the main thing with the podcasting is that it's just all it is a chat, and you want to learn about, even if it's somebody that's been your friend.
Yes.
There's stuff you don't know about them. So you want to know how did you grow up? Who influenced you musically? Who influenced you in your life? Who is your mentors?
Yeah. Something just everyday questions.
Obvious stuff.
Yeah, everyday questions. And as you said, Darrell.
Obvious.
Just obvious questions to ask somebody. In other words, be interested in who they are and what they are and what they do.
And listen to what they say when you ask them a question.
Yes. That's one of the most important things.
Yeah, sounds simple.
Most people don't.
Exactly.
Because they immediately ask the question.
They're already thinking about the next five.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
When instead of answering what's going on and what it was, they have no idea what's happening.
Exactly.
So what's your next move now? What would you like to promote right now? We've captured you, Darrell.
Well, really, I think the podcast, it's Music Matters with Darrell Craig Harris, on all the podcast outlets. You can check out Music Crowns in London, based in Guitar Love in Italy. We post the videos from the interviews there.
Okay.
So the videos have about 500,000 views.
Is that done in English or Italian or both? Or
no, it's all in English, and and then they have the subtitles are auto added. I think that happens with YouTube probably.
Yeah.
They're not always accurate. But it's kind of funny.
Sometimes they get a word wrong.
It's kind of funny to see what they do with that.
I know exactly what she'll say.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I never said that.
And then I have my website. It's just DarrellCraigHarris.com, and that's it.
That's it. It is awesome. It's wonderful. So your next move is to keep your podcast going.
Yeah, I'm going to Finland. It's coming up. I'm going to Finland in February for a week. We're recording. We're doing interviews with a Finnish artist, Janneke, who's a very famous singer in Europe. I'm going to play some bass, and we're going to do some chats.
And who's sponsoring all that?
So we have Switcher Studios, which is a video podcasting app.
Okay.
And then video app. And then we also have Kathy Ireland Worldwide.
Yes.
And her record label, EE1 Records. So, yeah.
That's
lots
wonderful.
of stuff.
This is what we call a successful story. Absolutely amazing.
Just having fun.
Just having fun, I know.
That's all.
He's such a wonderful guy. I'm so lucky and I'm so gifted to be able to interview all these different people in Vegas.
Well, I appreciate what you do. You're really great at what you do.
It's an honor to do it, and it's wonderful.
Awesome.
I love it. And maybe I'll be on your show one
Absolutely.
day.
Yeah, we'll do that. Absolutely.
No, come on, we'll turn
we'll
the
interview
table.
each other.
Interview each other.
Get two interviewers going at it.
Who hasn't done one?
Yeah, it'll be like a 5-hour long show.
5 hours.
So tell me about 1975.
Before my time.
Me too.
I'm kidding. I am teasing.
Okay.
Thank you for watching Vegas Live with Ninon. Don't forget to go to YouTube. Absolutely amazing. And don't forget to go to Pureza restaurant. It's on the corner of Sahara and Decatur. Absolutely wonderful. They're open, I believe, they start, I believe, 11, 12 o'clock.
Yeah, it's a great place.
It is a fabulous place. The ambiance is beautiful, absolutely lovely. They have happy hour, and then, of course, it's a Mexican cuisine. We will be right back with our next guest. You take care out there. Thank you for watching.
But I know that's a very strange thing when I tell people I'm not really a big musical fan. They're like, wait,
Yeah.
but didn't you go to college for that?
Well, it's
But-
funny because you like to perform, you like to sing, but you got to figure out what vehicle is going to work.
I just don't want to watch other people do it.
Exactly.
But
There you
that's
go.
not weird at all. So I started there, and I started as an actor.